Hey everybody.
Hi guys, I'm Anna.
I'm Mitchell.
And I'm a wife of an addict in recovery.
I am an addict in recovery. I am about 4 days shy of 8 months, longest I've been my whole life. Well, not my whole life, but since 14.
So that's a good accomplishment.
I wasn't born addicted.
We wanted to come on today because we kind of discussed earlier this morning, because we're celebrating our 6-year anniversary.
Yep.
And we were discussing how grateful we are of where we are today, because I could remember just about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Not even 2 years ago. It might have been, yeah, it was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, because I think the year before that you were just came out of rehab. So about, 2 years ago, it was a very different scenario. I was over his parents' house. They were not there. They told me I could come over anytime I wanted to, just to relax. And Mitchell and I had a big fight because I knew that he was drinking or doing drugs. And I went over to his parents' house, and that was on our anniversary. And I remember laying on the couch crying and trying to watch some TV to get my mind off of it. And Mitchell came in. I heard the door. He came in the room and he was like, "Are we hanging out or not? Do you want to hang out today?" And he didn't even realize it was our anniversary or anything of that. But what bothered me the most was like, "Do you even understand how much this hurts?" And then it was more of my fault. Addict storm off. And so it's just a very different scenario of remembering, 2 years ago, crying on a couch, upset because I had the addict in front of me. But now today, we woke up this morning, truthfully, the happiest we've really ever been together.
For sure.
And just extremely grateful. And we want to thank everyone out there, and you know exactly who you are, that has always stuck by our side, and then also offered up all the information that they had of the struggles that they've been going through or knew of, and helped us out. I can't thank you guys enough. You know who you are. Special shout out to Alpine Recovery Lodge and to I Am Recovery, and then to everybody that we've met along the way. You guys have been extraordinary people and have helped us big time.
For sure. And like Anna was talking about, I remember, I think it was last summer after my second treatment, she was saying that the year before, we didn't do anything for our anniversary, and I was like, "You're kidding me," and I didn't believe her. I believe her, but I really don't remember. And just to let you in on a little bit of the mind of me when I was using, I just wasn't aware of anybody's feelings or, what date it was or anything like that, and I remember being angry, and not even knowing it was our anniversary. So that's, there's some pretty big shame in that, but today I can say that wasn't me. That wasn't me sober, because I would never, it's not about the date and the anniversary, but I would never be mad and want to make Anna do anything that she doesn't want to do without her wanting to do it. And I'm grateful for everybody that's in my life too. Steve from Alpine, he's amazing.
He's all right.
He's amazing. All right. I love him to death. A lot of counselors and therapists that are at Alpine and I Am Recovery. All the friends I've met in recovery, keep up the good work. You guys are all incredible people. Don't get down on yourself. Yes, there's shame. There's shameful things that we've done, but the good thing is, if you remain clean and sober and clear-headed, you're not that person. And I'm able to look at the things I've done with a clear head and forgive myself and listen to my wife, and she can get some closure. And I think that's the most important thing in our growth so far, is just being able to validate her feelings when I wasn't there, when the addict was there. So I want to say happy anniversary to this beautiful woman that stayed by my side.
Love you. Happy anniversary.
She's put in as much, probably more work than I have, because like we've said on a couple other videos, the addict's high or drunk whenever they're creating this trauma, but the loved one is dealing with it not all the time, but most of the time sober, and it's not their wish. So they're really battling the majority of the trauma. You know, as addicts, we just have to fix why we use, or at least get to the root of why we use, and keep moving forward.
And that's why too, guys, I kind of want to bring to that attention is there's still times even now that there's times something will trigger something, a past trauma or something, and I just want to unload. But I need to realize sometimes that it does become too much for Mitchell. And so when we're talking, Mitchell will just go, hey, can I have a timeout? And I absolutely respect that, because truthfully, it's way better having him listen now than where it was before, where I know all of you out there that do have a friend or family member as an addict, whether in their recovery or not, and might be in early stages. Sometimes you just want to vent, you know, you want to get all that out because you haven't been heard for so long, you know, but we have to realize that we each have what we need to process. And I was telling someone that the other day is we got to think of it this way is when we've loved the addict, whether family member or friend, usually, so here's me, here's Mitchell, and we've been like this for so long. I've been very codependent of him, and he's had his addiction. So we don't know where each other begin. So what happens is the best thing that's happened to us is I did my own recovery, Mitchell did his own recovery. Then we knew what each one really was and had to deal with. So therefore, Mitchell could process what Mitchell had to process. That was his part of it. Then I got to process what I had to process. And then afterwards, then we can come together as two different units and really discuss about it. But like I said, there is still times, though, that it's hard for Mitchell to feel that, and I understand that.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. You know, a lot of the time it's not something that so just to kind of put you in my mind frame, sometimes whenever that happens is usually it's just, you don't know when people are going to be triggered. You don't know when people are going to want to work through some trauma. You never know if you come home from work, if your spouse or significant other or whatever is going to be having a good day, a bad day, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it's just a matter of Anna might have had something trigger her, and she wants to talk about some trauma, and maybe I've had a stressful day and I just can't process it right now, right then, and then sometimes we shelf it that way, and then we come back to it, and she is respectful of me as I'm respectful of her. I say I really want to validate your emotions right now and feelings and work through this trauma. Either maybe I'm not as fully present as I would want to be, or I've had a stressful day, or it's some trauma that I haven't worked through with Anna yet and I really don't remember. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we will shelf it. Most of the time since this last treatment, though, we've been able to work through some stuff. Sometimes it's also maybe after a good 20-30 minute session when me and Anna we just sit down and kind of talk about the past, and mm-hmm. we do work through a lot of stuff sometimes, and sometimes it gets, the length of it builds up, and, mm-hmm. and what I do, and speaking to the other recovering addicts, is when I start to notice that, like, my shoulders tense up, I start getting closer to Anna, my voice raises,
peacock.
I start, my temperature starts raising, and I use that as a cue as, all right, slow down, Mitchell. Anna is really working through some trauma right now. I can't and this is really getting to me, so this must be something new that I haven't worked through before. So that's my cue to mm-hmm. step back, maybe say, hey, can we shelf this a little bit? And then she respects that and says, let's shelf it. Or if, you know, I'm explaining something to Anna that I used to explain to her whenever I was in recovery, but she is starting to really trust me now, and we're mm-hmm. starting to get on the same page. You know, sometimes she'll be like, you know, you don't need to tell me that, or like, slow down or whatever. So it works both ways, and it's been working really good for us.
Yep. And then just to say, good to see you too, Jill. And hi, Auntie Donna.
Hey, Donna.
Love you.
Richard.
And then Janelle, I'm super proud of you, lady. You are growing stronger and stronger each day, and you've been strong right from the beginning in the get-go.
Yeah, Janelle.
So extremely proud of you. We love you too, Mommy. Thank you, Kathy. You have the most amazing paint nights. So if anybody wants to go look up Kathy. She has the best paint nights in the world. And then we love you too, Daddy. And then Auntie Dawn again. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. We haven't been looking at the Thank you, Lori. And thank
Travis.
you, Michelle. Michelle
Michelle.
Michelle was the one that married us
6 years
down
ago.
here 6 years ago down at the lake. So I'll
6 years ago, right
down there. So that's the thing, guys.
Thanks,
is
Michelle.
Just everyone out there, I just want you guys to know that there were a lot of nights I was alone. There were a lot of nights that I did not think anything possible that we would ever come to where we are right now. Not one bit. And I know there are people out there that are listening and watching, and you're probably like, it's not going to happen. She doesn't, and trust me, I understand that feeling. And it's absolutely okay if you have that feeling. Everybody needs to work through things and process things at the same time. But I'll tell you, what made us get from that point of not spending an anniversary together and having that upset moment in my life to where I am now, it started with Mitchell taking the chance and going to Alpine Recovery Lodge. Right from there, I met extraordinary people that did a family aftercare for me, that I got to be able to vent and have people understand what I was going through, meet people that had the same things that I was going through, get validated, start learning information about addiction, started recognizing that I needed to separate my husband from the addict, that there were two different identities. Mitchell started working his own program. I started working mine. And when I say that, guys, my God, trying to hold boundaries was the hardest thing to do. Someone said the other night to me, but I didn't hold that boundary. And that's okay. I didn't hold the boundary the first time, second time, third time, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh.
11 years.
Yeah, it took such a long time to learn boundaries. I think the only thing that I'll tell you, though, it never got better until I started working on myself, allowed Mitchell to work his own recovery, held boundaries, started seeing what was mine in everything, looking in the mirror and going, Anna, what's going on in you? And working on my own self-worth. And that's what I meant about those processes. So if they're in the beginning of recovery, Mitchell didn't want to process a lot of it because he still felt like I was attacking him in the past when I would say those sort of things. So it was a process, everybody.
Yeah, and I was still learning why I used. I was still learning why I turned to drugs and alcohol, why I needed that to self-medicate. What was I hiding from? What was I running from? What was the problem? Because I was solving it with drugs and alcohol. It's a 100% cure for just putting everything else on the back burner. It does. It works, and that's why people are addicted and alcoholics and all that stuff, because it just numbs you to whatever your problem is. So it took a while for me to even figure out what that was.
And that's the thing is, we had someone ask today, does it ever end? Does it ever get better? And the truth is, I told her, it will if you make a change. Because the pure definition of insanity is just doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting a different outcome. And that was my life for a long time, is expecting that if I found the drugs or I found the alcohol, came to Mitchell, confronted him, if I thought he went to rehab, I thought there was going to be a different outcome. But the truth was, I never changed anything. And once I started changing things, I started holding boundaries, and I started working on myself, that's when I stepped off that carousel. So that's the only promise I can make you guys, is that I know if you keep doing the same thing over and over, I know it sucks to say, but if you keep doing the same thing over and over and it has not worked yet, chances are it is not going to work in the future. So you just need to take that one little change, that one little leap of faith, and start something, even if it's just a difference of a little bit of perspective. That's where change occurs. Change happens when we make a little bit of change.
Yeah, and I totally agree. Like, the formula Anna laid out that worked for us isn't going to necessarily work for everybody, but I totally agree with the working on yourselves separately, finding out your own demons, because everybody has demons from somewhere or another along their life. Working on them by yourselves. It takes both people to want change and to be willing to change.
Yep.
You can't just say, I'm going to change. You need to say, I am willing to do this. And, it took me 3 times in treatment. It took me 21 years to get into treatment and 3 times in treatment. and then some after residential treatment. And it took me all that time to really be willing, that's willing to actually have faith in my higher power, which I call God. It makes me willing to forgive myself, makes me willing to forgive 6-year-old Mitchell for all the negative self-talk that I still have today, but I can tell myself, you are good enough. You've proved that people are drawn to you. You can help people. Everybody is on the same journey through life, with varying conditions of trauma, hurt, whatever you're dealing with. But then I think once you work on your things together, then you need to communicate and you need to bridge the gap so you both can build a healthy relationship after you're both healthy. Because if one changes, the other one doesn't, you try to bridge that gap, you have a healthy person bridge into an unhealthy person.
Yep.
So I think that's really important. Communication after you work on yourselves, bridge that gap and let your partner influence you. Work together, because you're a team, as a couple, as a family, as any friends. You're a team. We're all a team in this world. So.
And have one of the big things that helped me, have self-compassion. Because I've been actually saying this to a lot of people recently, but here's the thing, guys. I said the same thing to myself, but didn't believe it back then either. So the truth is, we need to have compassion for ourselves. Because think of it this way. If someone came to you and vented and explained their whole situation that was identical to yours, would you not look across the table and have compassion for that person, show them kindness, and show them understanding? So why is it more difficult when we look in the mirror than we look down at ourselves? We consider ourselves weak. We consider ourselves broken. It's more tricky when you look at that person in the mirror, but the truth is, if you would extend that same care and that love to the person across the table, then you really should extend that same love and care to the person looking back at you in the mirror. And I know that's a very hard concept, because it was one that for a long time I didn't know who Anna was, because I've always seen myself in a sense as a very optimistic, happy, and positive person. And for a long time I was hurting inside. There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of shame. There was a lot of guilt. And so I look in the mirror and go, that's not me. But the truth is, guys, that was still me. What it was is, I just was sad. I just was hurt. I was angry. I was upset. That was still Anna. So the thing is instead of putting myself down and going, that's not you, no, it is. Have some compassion for yourself. It's absolutely okay the way that you're feeling. You're dealing with something extremely tough in life. Yep. It's a very hard disease to fight, and the truth is what we do too is we isolate ourselves, and there are people out there that do want to help. And just like the addict, they have an army behind them, the families and friends. You need an army behind you too. You can't do it alone.
Yeah, and a very special woman in my life, Laura Boberg, told me, don't deny me of the pleasure of helping you. So other people do want to help. And all you have to do is reach out and connect. That's what we've been doing, and that's what we're going to continue to do with you guys, and we love you all.
And we need you guys to know, and we say this quite a few times, is we really appreciate everyone reaching out and telling their stories, because there are times where you still feel alone sometimes. And to hear you guys reach out and become vulnerable, you're just creating more sparks in yourself. And with that too, every post that you guys do on the page and every share that you do, I need you to realize that you help out more people that are hiding in the dark because they are scared.
Yep.
When you just share that, or even write a comment on here and just say, anything, another person that's watching this silently sees that and goes, there's people out there that do care. It's okay. So you guys create way more of a wave of hope and inspiration than you truly know, and I just want you all to know that.
Yeah, we love you. We're all recovery. You guys are amazing. We love you. We have faith in you. We have faith in ourselves. We're not perfect. We're imperfect. And we just want to be imperfect together with everybody.
And that's the point of We Are Recovery when we say that. We Are Recovery doesn't mean Mitchell and I. We Are Recovery is what Mitchell and I have grown to know, is that there are people out there that care and love us, and all together, that's what recovery is about, is that support system. So everybody that's on here and supports us and supports other people, that's why We Are Recovery. All of us are as one entity, and we're going to be the people that are going to shed the light to others. And I really appreciate all of it. I'll let you guys know if any of you have any questions. We did get some questions, so we will be doing another podcast. Maybe we'll do one tomorrow too.
Yeah.
We'll do one tomorrow too. So if you guys want to reach out. Leave us your questions. You don't have to do it on here if you don't. If you want to write privately, you're more than welcome. We don't need to use your name if it's something you just want answered. But Mitchell and I are here because we do want to get as vulnerable as possible, because we understand that feeling of aloneness and feeling sad, and we really don't want other people out there, because the worst thing we could do is hold on to what we've learned from other people and just let that spark go out.
Yeah.
We want to keep igniting it onto everybody else.
And if you guys learn something from us, just know that we're learning thousands more things from you guys. So This is keeping me sober. This is keeping Anna on the right path and me on the right path and connected to you guys. So it's a two-way street, and we really appreciate you guys looking out.
And
watching.
there's the other Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
What's up, Michelle?
All right, guys. Well, what we'll do is we'll come on tomorrow. It looks like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock is a good time. We'll write a post and let you know what tomorrow is. But just write your questions, and we'll answer them tomorrow, okay? We love you all so very much. Bye, guys.